Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my preliminary winter forecast for the season of 2022 to 2023. Of course, preliminary, my first one. Seen a lot of YouTubers doing it, so I thought I might hop in. So, because I know around this time of year, even though it's still August, winter starts to be talked about. I've noticed over the years. So anyway, let's get started. So first thing is we have the CDOS Nino 3.4 index, and I'm looking at this because this will determine at least some what the winter will look like, as El Nino La Nina neutral can be used to determine where the worst winter will be, where the best winter will be, depending on your case of worst and best, and like where the cold and hot's going to be. So that's why we are looking at this. Even though this is mostly used in hurricane situations, it is definitely very helpful in winter and just seasons in general. So currently it is negative 0.823. Earlier today it was negative 0.799, and as you can see, it is definitely dropping rapidly. So yeah, and it might be lower than what it was in May, which was a little over -1 or -9. Negative 0.9 and negative. Well, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. If we look at the IRI ENSO forecast, which I just look up sometimes, we do see, if we go in the newest early August, that we're expected to go through La Nina for the rest of the hurricane season, which I talked about hurricanes and some of the hurricane season. The last video, if you haven't watched that, go check it out, and I'll talk about that more in future videos. But yeah, the rest of the hurricane season months, and up until around January, and then February, it's really tied, and then we're supposed to be a neutral. But for up to at least the peak of winter and a little after, as winter starts to get warmer and transition to spring, we're expected to be a La Nina, and neutral is pretty much the same setup, very similar setup to a La Nina setup. We're not expecting the El Nino. An El Nino setup is very different. Neutral and La Nina setups are pretty similar, but I'm not showing. I'm going to show the La Nina setup for winter later to see a potential what we could see. I'm not going to show the neutral setup because it's pretty similar, and we're not expecting El Nino, so I'm not going to show that. Maybe in other videos. Yeah. And if we Climate Prediction Center 3 months forecast for December, January, and February, the peak months of winter, we're expecting above average temperatures of parts of western Alaska, the east and central United States, south central specifically, and southwest, and then below normal temperatures in the northwest. Of course, take this with a grain of salt. These do change a lot, and I'm also expecting these below average temperatures to go for much of the northern United States into the Midwest, and then the above average temperatures I would want to move that a little more to the east, but I do expect the East Coast to still stay above average temperatures. Now, above average for much of the Midwest. Now, what I would, and Alaska, and then below average for most of the southern and central United States. What I would do is I think that above average will also be a little bit in the northwest as well, and the below average will move up parts of the East Coast. But of course, this will change, so we will see. Okay, guys, here is the La Nina setup in a wintertime pattern. I said I would show this, so yeah, let's see. So, of course, we got the blocking high pressure in the northern Pacific. We see the polar jet stream coming through the northwest, through the plains, through the Midwest, up into, and the Ohio, Mississippi valleys, up into the mid-Atlantic and northeast, back into Canada. This usually brings cold air into the northwest, much of the northern plains, and very north Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, and Midwest. And in the northwest, that's where we usually see the colder air being brought into. As wetter air, too, for much of those regions. I think the wetter air will be for much of the northern areas, too. But we'll see how that turns out. And dry air for a lot of the East Coast, southern areas, as well as warmer air. Now let's get on to my graphics. So this is the preliminary temperature forecast. Number one, I'll do future preliminary forecast. But I'm expecting above average temperatures for much of the East Coast going into the southern and plains, south central plains, and southern southeast United States. These were expecting above average temperatures into a little bit of the southwest, but I don't expect as much of that this year. So that's yellow. A little more above average, like moderately above average. Yellow was slightly above average, but moderately above average in the orange. I'm expecting Texas, Louisiana, pretty much all Florida, and then up the East Coast into New Jersey, up into Maine. Now, the very above average, I'm expecting for the Texas and Louisiana coasts, as well as southern and parts of central Florida. The below average temperatures, I'm expecting a lot for the northwest, which is that would have to be a pretty strong La Nina pattern, but I think we will see it based on this big deepening we've recently had. And so the worst of those below average temperatures, the to the highest degree, will be in the very northwest, and then slightly below average and moderately above average temperatures will be through the Midwest. Next graphic is our precipitation forecast, where I'm expecting slightly above average precipitation expected, and as in the form of rain for a lot of the Midwest and Ohio and Mississippi valleys, and moderately above, as well as the northwest and some just western United States too. Moderately above average precipitation in the form of rain, I'm expecting for a lot of the Ohio Valley, the north central Midwest, and the deeper northwest as well. So Midwest and northwest. Now below average, I'm only expecting up to slightly below average, down to slightly below average rainfall. I'm not expecting the pattern to be a set where areas are going to experience extremely below average precipitation, but there are areas that I think will experience below average. And parts of California, Texas, all the way up the East Coast into Connecticut. Now, finally, if we go to the final graphic, which is the actual snowfall amount, I'm expecting a slightly below average for much of California, so southwest areas, Texas all the way up into Maine, and extreme below average in the California mountains. They always see a lot of snow, so they'll still get a lot of snow, but I don't think as much as usual, especially because this deepening La Nina pattern that we will likely see in winter, and for much of the southeast and south central plains. But it's not like they get snow. Well, it's not like they get a lot of snow either, especially in places like Florida and those southeast places. They pretty much never get snow. Now, very above average in the snowfall expected in the northwest and around the Ohio, Michigan area, moderately above average in northwest and into the northern plains, as well as Indiana, Michigan, parts of Pennsylvania, a little bit of New York and Ohio, and then just slightly above average from Washington all the way up into like Minnesota, and for much of the Midwest. It's just in general into like Pennsylvania and stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.